and welcome back to another installment of the Sugar Savvy Solution, acclimating the foodie in you to a life beyond sugar. And how do we do that? We do that by going whole food plant-based, and there's a lot of value in it. And if you've heard me say anytime on this channel before, whole food plant-based vegan is how I actually overcame my sugar addiction and my food addiction. But we're not talking about that particularly right now today. Today I am here and accompanied by family. I have Cathy, who you've all met on this channel before, and I have the lovely Jude Michelle, and you've met her on this channel before. If you haven't seen it, I will link the episodes on which they were on in the show notes. And do yourself a whole favor and listen to everything that these two brilliant women have to say. And I'm not just saying it because they're my family. So anyway, we're gonna get down real. The reason why I have you two on the show, and they were so generous to agree to be on the Sugar Savvy Solution with me, is because I never forced these two. I didn't, even though they're family and they love me. They literally transformed and transitioned into a whole food plant-based lifestyle for their health because of the health benefits. And we're going to talk about that. But what was interesting is both of them were married or is married. We're going to get into that as well. And their husbands did not transition. And I want to talk about the dynamic about that, because many of you who are watching this, like, yeah, Carmel, you're cute because I have a whole family to feed. And they're not trying to hear eat leaves. So I decided to pull them onto this channel so that they can give you a little bit of an idea of what it's like for them following a whole food plant-based lifestyle and having a partner that does not necessarily follow that lifestyle. So we ready to have a conversation, ladies?
We are.
Yes,
Okay.
let's
All right.
chat about this.
So I briefly told the folks who you are. Cathy, could you just introduce yourself and what you do real quickly?
Sure. I'm Cathy Jude. I am a teacher, I'm an author, I'm a writer, and yeah.
What are you an author of?
Oh, thank you very much for asking. I've written a novel called The Box about a young woman's journey through healing from depression and family dynamics and family secrets.
Thank you. Okay, and would you please kindly introduce yourself to the lovely people that are watching?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Jude Michelle. As Carmel said, we're cousins, so these are my lovely cousins. What do? I help folks go through their healing journey through various modalities, meditation, and also Reiki. And I also focus on women who are going through the menopause journey. I am a menopause doula, so I assist folks with the journey of what it means to come to this next stage of life. So yeah, that's some of the things that I do among
Some of the
others.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all multifaceted,
Yeah.
as many of you are, so you can relate and you
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get right to the conversation.
Yeah.
My first question to each of you, Cathy, you go first. What inspired you to become whole food, or what inspired you to transition to a whole food plant-based lifestyle?
So
Besides me.
besides you, because I was going to start with you, but I suffered with endometriosis, and for those of you who do not know, endometriosis is the breakdown of the endometrial tissue in a woman's uterus. Thank you, in a woman's uterus, and the endometrial cells can travel throughout the body. Usually it doesn't. Usually it stays in that reproductive area. But in my case, it traveled through my body and attacked my lungs, and a number of issues arose from that. And so every month when I did get my menstrual cycle, the cramps were intense, so intense that they were debilitating. I was bedridden all the time, and I had several doctors, GYN specialists, prescribed medications. So that worked. They were great. They worked. I mean, they really mess with my hormonal system, and but they worked, and I was happy about
When you
that.
say they worked, did they work in alleviating the pain and the
They,
symptoms?
yes, thank you so much for clarifying. Yes, they worked in alleviating the symptoms. When my period came every month, I was able to walk straight, work out, go to work, all that stuff.
Be a
Was it-
participating
It-
participating citizen.
Yeah, be a
Right.
participating
It didn't
citizen.
interrupt your life
It didn't
anymore.
interrupt my
Right.
life anymore.
Right.
But the thing is, we have to deal with medical insurance. That's so much fun. And my medical insurance, they decided that I didn't need this medication on continuously. So they dropped me from that, and I could not afford the medication, and that happened to me twice. After the second time, I was like, I have to sustain this on my own. I have to be able to find a way that I can manage the symptoms of endometriosis without depending on the medical industry. And I know that you kept telling me, try whole food plant-based, try whole food plant-based, and I was not yet ready to. And when I was finally ready to, I decided that I was going to do it when summer came around, because then it wouldn't conflict with my schedule as a teacher. And I was able to learn recipes, devote all my time to it. I went on to a whole food plant-based in July, the first week of July. What are we in, 2025? I'm gonna say 2023.
2023. Okay.
2023, July 2023. And the first month that I was on that diet, no pain.
The first month?
The first month,
That quickly.
that quickly,
Wow.
literally.
That is-
I'm not even exaggerating.
I know this story, but I did not realize it took 1 month of
It
you
took 1
eating a whole food plant-based diet for you to feel better.
Yeah, and I was hooked, and I never went back after that.
And when you say whole food plant-based diet, were you eating like what, Impossible Burgers? What were you
No, 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 no. I didn't even touch that. I was eating salads, with spinach and kale. I was having vegetables like bell peppers and cucumbers. I was making these salads that were so delicious to me. I didn't even start eating tofu yet at the time, really. But I had a lot of sweet potatoes. I would make my salads with just all anything that came from the ground, I guess, natural. I didn't have any Impossible Burgers, anything like that. I just made a number of different kinds of salads.
She was eating the plants, y'all.
I was
She was
eating
eating the plants.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I chose the summertime because, like I said, it didn't conflict with my schedule, with my school schedule, and it gave me the chance to really dive deep into what I was eating, creating these recipes, finding recipes, spending all my time really just looking into that. And there was really no research done. I just started putting all these salads together, salads that I found were really delicious, and I enjoyed it. And so yeah, and within a month I was pain free, and I have been since then.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Thanks. So, Jude, what inspired you to become whole food plant-based?
Wow. So this is my second time, I would say,
Yeah.
embarking on a clean diet, right? Didn't have the terms back then. I was a vegan back in, I'm gonna say, the late 80s, no, mid 90s.
That was a long time.
That was a long time
Yeah.
ago. I'm dating myself, but that's when I was encouraged to not eat meat anymore because go ahead.
Can I ask, like,
Sure.
was the term vegan even used back
It was
then?
vegetarian.
It was vegetarian.
It was you were a vegetarian.
Okay.
And the information was not out there, like the various ways for you to get all your nutrients and everything. And I went about it on my own, just trying to figure out, well, I'm not going to eat meat again. And I did do some of the alternatives, but back then it was like tofu and tempeh and seitan, right? Had some great recipes, but what really caused me to not even eat those things also is because I was diagnosed with candida, and it was just all over my body. I was lethargic all the time, foggy, exhausted, and I was in college working on my undergrad and graduate degree at the same time. and I was very active. I was a dancer. I had my own dance company, and I just could not keep up. And I went to what you would call right now as a functional doctor, but it was a holistic doctor back then. And he was like, "You have candida." I had no idea what that was
Right.
at all. And he told me, "You have to stop eating processed food. You have to stop eating anything that's white, like white bread, pasta, white rice." And I'm like, "Oh wow, what am I gonna eat?" And that's how I felt, like, what am I gonna eat?
Yeah.
And so I went into eating a lot of vegetables, and that's when I discovered alternative grains, right? Like quinoa and couscous. Couscous is a pasta, but the way couscous is made, it doesn't disrupt your body that way, where it has an increase of yeast growth with
Okay.
all the other white type of foods.
Okay.
Oh, and then like dairy, no dairy, none of that. Like dairy, so that include all the things that I love, like ice cream, cheese, and all that. So I stopped eating all that. And I went back to eating flesh again. So it started by eating fish, and then I went to chicken. So I would toggle between chicken and fish. So what caused me to do this now again is I am fully menopausal, and every year I've been fully menopausal for 5 years now.
Really?
Okay.
Wow.
5 years now.
Congratulations.
I know,
Yeah.
congratulations, right? And thus, this is why the menopause doula came in, because I would go to my OBGYN, and they were just not trained in this. Fast forward, every year I was putting on weight. People would look at me and be like, "Oh, you look great for your age." I don't care, but I wanted to feel great. I wanted to feel as great as people said I looked, right? And so then it was last July that I came to Carmel, and I was like, "Carmel," well, prior to coming to Carmel, I was gonna do hormone replacement. I came that close to doing hormone, yes, because I was so uncomfortable all the time. The brain fog, the hot flushes, the gaining weight, the list of the symptoms, of what happens to women when they're going through menopause. And I said, well, let me try this whole food plant-based before I go to hormone replacement. And that's when I reached out to Carmel, right? And Carmel, all of you know, Carmel has multiple platforms in how she's helping people with nutrition. So from July to, I'm gonna say now, I've lost 18 pounds.
Oh my, wait, this past July?
Yes.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
lost 18 pounds.
That's amazing, because I feel like 18 pounds, that's a lot in and of itself. But for anybody who even understands the perimenopause and postmenopausal journey, and how we gain all this, like the weight gain that's associated with it, and why it packs on so how do you call that? Quickly.
In all the areas that you don't want it to. Right.
That's huge.
Yeah, 18 pounds. I just could not believe it, that, oh my gosh, I'm losing weight. And everyone's like, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm SOS free, I'm whole food plant-based. And they're looking at me like, oh my gosh, you're postmenopausal, like, where are you gonna get your protein? What do you eat? And it's that, because now there is a smorgasbord of information. And also now, fast forward, that was 90s, here we are. I just adapted my meals, and oh my gosh, like you, Cathy, the different like I was eating different types of salads, different types of greens that were not available. Like back then it was just iceberg, really, right? Different types of greens, and kale also. Kale was always around, but no one really liked it, kale. And so finding ways to eat mostly raw, but I do cook my food too, right? Mostly, but everything was delicious. So it has helped me tremendously. My mood is shifted, the weight is off. It's just, I just love the journey. I love being a billboard for women who are postmenopausal, that are looking to change their diet.
And a whole food plant-based.
And a whole food
At
plant-based.
least they should give it a try, right?
At least.
Folks, I did not pay any of either of them to stay oldest. I didn't. I promise I didn't. Just curious, backtrack very, very quickly.
Sure.
What was your inspiration the first time around back in the 80s, you said?
Well, it was, because again, it had to do with my cycle. Like,
You were trying to regulate your cycle.
I was trying to regulate my
Oh.
cycle. I was trying to diminish the symptoms that came with my cycle, like the cramps, the bloatingness, the fatigue, the brain fog, the mood switch, the mood changes, and then you fast forward, and when you're going through menopause, it's the same thing. The fatigue.
So interesting, because I know your story about the postmenopause now.
Yeah.
I know that story.
Yeah.
And I know your story about the endometriosis. I didn't realize that the first go round a couple decades ago,
Yeah.
a few decades ago, was around the same thing, the female reproductive system. And now I'm making the correlation that between the two of you, all three inspiration to go whole food plant-based was about the female reproductive system. That to me is profound. And if it doesn't tell anybody anything, it should tell us, as far as women is concerned, our reproductive system really is the ruler of our lives. And when we have to give it a certain amount of respect with the information that it tells us on a monthly basis with each cycle. And that's something that I completely did not pay attention to. I gave it no regard.
Yeah.
We weren't taught to put that much importance on our reproductive cycle, on
Or
our menstrual
even,
cycle.
or even make the correlation.
Or even make the correlation between how we feel and how we function, and not even on a month-to-month basis, but a day-to-day basis where we are in our cycle.
Right.
Because there's a certain part of our menstrual cycle where we are at our strongest, and other times of our menstrual cycle where we just really kind of like sit down somewhere
Right.
and let your body do what it needs to do.
So I wanted to say really quickly that like I went to my GYNs like all the time, telling them how much I was in pain, and they're always through the medication, the Aleve, whatever, at me, right? But no one ever stopped to say, well, let's see if you might have any issues like endometriosis. I found out about endometriosis completely by accident.
Yeah.
Oh,
They-
wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So if you said that we weren't making that connection, well, nobody was telling us
No,
to make that connection.
Not even
The
by
connection was
our
not
class.
even made. The connection wasn't even being made,
Yeah.
let alone to tell us about
Right,
it.
Right. So how are we supposed to know?
Well, and this is, I also like to add, how are we supposed to know? It's a challenge. Like, if you kind of tap into who and what you are in terms of how you feel, that's how I kind of discerned it,
Mhm.
right? And what I wanted to also add is that, yes, whole food, plant-based, trying to be a vegetarian, not a vegan, now I understand the difference. But what that journey did for me, it caused me to really lessen the amount of animal flesh I eat,
Mhm.
right? Like, I wasn't always a big red meat eater. I would dip and dab here, but it was not like a big staple. And because of that, as a result, as a person of African descent, as a woman of Africa, I never had a fibroid.
You never had a fibroid?
Never in my life.
All right, so let's just let's reel it back in.
Yes.
I want to talk about the husbands,
Oh,
right?
oh, yes.
We're here to find out what to do when our partner is saying, "Oh no, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon." And for you, all you can think about is, "Oh no, that means I have to cook more than one dinner every night,"
Mhm.
right? Jude, I want to start with you. So my question to you is, how did your husband first react when you decided, or when you first told him, "Listen, this is what I'm gonna try for a little while,"
Right.
or for a long while?
Oh, for a long
Yeah.
while.
What was his reaction?
Well, as a menopause doula and all the platforms that I've publicly spoken, and I say when a woman goes through menopause, the whole house goes through menopause. And he actually saw how I was suffering, and in fact, it impacted him. And so when I tried various aspects of what I can do to lessen the symptoms or just, yeah, lessen the symptoms of menopause. And when I came to this, he was like, yes, let's try it. And he did say, let's try it. He was like, Jude, I'll support you. And it was a challenge because it kind of skewed our social life. Go out, get cocktails, eat, right? And I wasn't doing that anymore. So he was actually very supportive.
And so my next question would be, at any point in time, did he ever maybe even entertain jumping on board with you? Or he was just like, I'm gonna support you from over here.
While I eat my steak.
While I eat my steak, baby, you go ahead and you eat that plant.
Right. You eat those veggies. Actually, he, I would make meals and he would try my meals. So I would say if I cooked, let's say 5 days out of the week, 2 days out of that week, he is eating a whole food plant-based SOS free meal.
This is the second time you said SOS free. For those who are tuning in for the first time and never heard me ramble about SOS, could you tell the good people, what does SOS free even mean? What the heck are you talking about?
I know, right? It's no sugar, no oil, no salt.
No salt, oil, and
Sugar added. No salt, oil, and sugar added to your food. So yeah, I wasn't cooking with salt. I was not cooking with oil and sugar. It was like, sugar.
And I just also wanted to add to that, the
Yeah.
salt, oil, and sugar free also means when you go to the supermarket, you're checking your labels for no added refined salt, oil, and sugar.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, yes.
So thank you for that. I'm gonna come over to you, Cathy. So let me know. So when you decided to become whole food plant-based, and you decided because you wanted to correct or help alleviate yourself from the symptoms of the endometriosis that you had been diagnosed with, you were married at the time. What was your husband's reaction?
He was very.
And was he supportive?
So he was very impressed with me. He was, the fact that I didn't stop where the doctors told me that they couldn't help me, but that I moved, I found a way, that I was trying to find a solution for myself. Very, very impressed. But also bothered.
What do you mean by bothered?
If it in any way affected him and the way he ate, he was telling me about it.
Give us an example, please.
So, I want to say for my birthday. No, it wasn't for my birthday. I think we wanted to go somewhere to eat. To go to a restaurant, and I was like, well, I don't want to go to this restaurant because all they have available for me is like a regular salad, but I want to be able to enjoy my meal. I want vegan food where I don't have to be subjected to just a salad. Oh, he was so not happy about that. He was just like, oh, now it's gonna affect what I want to eat. I can't go to Italian restaurants anymore because you're vegan. And I had to remind him why I'm vegan. I'm not doing this to annoy you.
Right.
I'm doing this for my health. Do you remember? I remember, but I can't eat what I want to eat. I want us to have the same meal every night, and we're having different meals. And I'm like, well, you can't have what I'm having, right? Just saying.
Right.
But at the same time, if it was a special occasion, like our anniversary or my birthday, he'd be like, I found a really nice vegan restaurant for us.
Oh, nice.
So it was interesting.
Yeah.
It was really interesting because in one aspect, he made it a point to find restaurants that were vegan, that we can go to, that we can share. But on the other aspect, any time when it was time for me to cook, and I wasn't cooking for him because he chose to still eat regular, eat meat. He was bothered by it. He let me know, and it turned into an argument many, many times. Yeah, it was disheartening.
It was disheartening.
Yeah.
Sorry that was your experience.
Yeah, thanks.
So Jude, your daily routine,
Yes.
shopping for groceries, how you even eat your meal with your husband, how much has that impacted your relationship? Because I know, like with couples, they'll go food shopping together, and sometimes even cook together, and sit down and eat the same meals. And honey, how is it? Oh my God, yes, I'm enjoying it too. How has that impacted your quality time, your meal time, how you interact with each other, your daily, weekly, monthly routines?
But thanks for asking that question, Carmel. So it has impacted us minimally. It's still an impact. We still cook together as much as we can, but we end up cooking like separate meals. And even when I cook for him, when we cook separately, I will cook him a separate meal, and vice versa. If he's cooking for me, he would make something separate if he feels like having a non-vegan dish.
I have a question for you. And some people who might be considering transitioning to a whole food plant-based lifestyle might have the same question. Does he come with uncles, brothers, nieces, and nephews? Does he come with those people?
Right.
Inquiring minds
Want to know, he does. Yeah, his whole entire family, they're just amazing people. They are. That's why I said yes, and that's why he's my babe.
Because that's extremely supportive. I feel like what you just mentioned there, it's not like, you know what, you're just gonna do for self. Yeah. So I interrupted you because I was curious to know if he has a brother that might be single.
Right. So the other aspect with my husband is that for the most part, he was a very healthy eater.
Okay.
Right before I met him.
Okay.
So it wasn't too much of a huge transition for him. Trust me, he loves his meat. He eats certain things, and even when we were together and I was still eating meat, I was just kind of like, I really don't do that. But he's supportive in terms of his health and keeping his health in check. So eating plants was huge for us. Like we've always had salads, creative salads, always vegetables. We've even became part of a CSA, which stands for Community Sustainable Agriculture, where we live, where you would get like sustainable vegetables from local farmers. Yeah, and we would just like get very creative with, what can we do with this? I've never eaten this before, things like that. So it became very fun for us. Where it has impacted our relationship the most is dining out.
Okay.
Yes, because when I started to do that, I'm like, there's nothing on this menu for me to eat.
Yep.
And I'm like, babe, but you just go with your friends. And he's like, but I want to just go to dinner with you. And there were times where I did go with him, and I order a salad and no salad dressing. Can I have this? And I'm like paying $16 for salad, and I'm like, this is not sustainable. I'm not paying $16 for salad. Right?
Yeah.
And so I found workarounds. One of the workarounds was that I would make sure that I ate at home and I was truly satiated, and I would go out with him and have a side salad, right, with no dressing or with some apple cider vinegar, and I cut out alcohol also, so I would have sparkling water as opposed to a cocktail. So we found workarounds. And we would go to the movies, right? We'd go to the movies, and he loves movie candy. He loves it. I necessarily did not, so I would have the popcorn.
Yeah.
So he had his and I got to the point where I was like, I can't eat this popcorn. It's just not. So we would pop our own popcorn and bring it to the movies.
Yep. We do that.
We do that
too.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. Like, who's gonna make popcorn?
It is fun. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so I would add salt to his popcorn. He was having his tub, and mine was like no salt, no oil. And I found a way to pop popcorn where I did not need to add oil to it. So not only am I holding the integrity of my diet, but I'm also supporting him.
Yeah.
Because he didn't taste the difference.
He didn't taste the difference. Wow.
Okay, nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so now things are being changed and implemented little by little, and he's healthier for it, but he didn't have to give up his meat. He doesn't have to give up his meat.
Right.
Cathy, my question to you is, how did the opposition from your husband at the time influence or impact your want or ability to stay on track with what it was that you decided to do? At any point, did you ever say, this is too hard, maybe I should just start eating what he's eating again?
I felt it was challenging, but I was not going back. I was not going back.
You were feeling too good.
I was feeling too good. I felt the difference in my body there was no way I was going back. If it was going to be an argument, then I guess it was going to be an argument. I didn't see the need to go back. I'm trying to think if there was any time that I tried to accommodate, you know, or go halfway with him. But I can't remember if there was anything like that. No, I held up what I needed to do for my body, and I felt in a way that he was probably so annoyed and angry with my change in diet, because he was probably now looking internally like maybe I should change my diet as well. You know, maybe that was it, because there was absolutely no reason for him to be so upset with my changed diet, especially knowing why I changed my diet.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I'm not trying to annoy him. I was just trying to find something that worked for me, right? And so I didn't feel the pressure to change my diet back to what it used to be because he was so upset with it. I was just like, I'm just gonna do me because I know what it has been doing for myself.
And he's just gonna have to get over
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I definitely appreciate, you know, the candor with which the two of you spoke. I appreciate your beautiful relationship with your husband, and I'm sorry that you were married to such a douche. But and I'm being nice about the word because if we were on camera there'd be other words. Anyway, I'll digress. I just wanted for you to leave some parting words to folks that might be going through what you're going through, or folks that fear that for themselves, or kind of know, no way my husband's gonna go through for that if I become whole food plant based. I had somebody that I was training that said exactly that to me. She's like, oh no, she shut it down so fast my husband would never go for it. And so for her, it wasn't even anything about her like I want. She didn't even say no, I'm really not interested. First thing was, oh no, my husband would never go for that. So I want you to give us some parting words to the women or anybody out there who might be considering transitioning and knowing that the support there'll be opposition at home.
Well, I guess I want to say that first you have to really think about what you want for yourself. Think about what you want for yourself, and know that if you are not feeling 100%, then you can't give 100% or even 50% to somebody else, right? I couldn't do my job properly. I can't be there for him if I'm bedridden for days a month, you know. So you have to think about what you need to do for yourself in order to help those that you love, and you know, really taking care of yourself is first priority. So I'm going to say that do what you feel you need to do when you're ready for it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Stay the course.
Stay the course.
If that's what you believe.
Right. Yeah.
What about you? Parting words, and I want you to give on both sides.
Yeah. Okay. So, your health is definitely your wealth.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
And if you are dealing with various health issues, or you just want to cleanse, just try it and see where it goes. No commitment, except for making a commitment for a period of time, as opposed to making, I should say, a commitment, no declaration. Like, I'm gonna be, right? No, just make the commitment to oneself.
Like a short, when you say commitment, like a short term commitment.
Yeah, and see how it goes, because that's how I started.
Okay.
I went on your program, which was 6 weeks, and those 6 weeks, the first few weeks were challenging, and just when I was getting into the groove, it was over, and I'm like, I need to do this again. So what I would tell people is find the support, because if you don't have the support at home, it's great to find a community that would be able to support you so that you can stay the course and have something to really compare to the before and after of how you feel. And you're the barometer.
Yeah.
You're the barometer to how you feel.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And to folks who are with partners, family members that don't support it, it's your approach. How do you have a serious kind of sit down conversation
Right.
and let them know that this is important to me. This has nothing to do with you short term, but
Yeah.
long term it does.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that because it's how you show up for your family is dependent on how well you feel and how well you are.
Absolutely.
Right. Especially coming through the lens of a postmenopausal woman.
Okay.
Right? Because what's my saying? If a woman's going through menopause, the whole house goes through menopause.
Right.
And I am such a I'm a better partner because I feel better.
Yeah.
I'm not as tired anymore.
Yeah.
The hot flushes are something that I'm still managing, but they're manageable.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just a better person. I just feel better, and so I show up better.
Nice.
And the other aspect of it is, it's great to empower yourself. Period.
Yep.
It's great to empower
Yeah,
yourself,
I agree.
and once you do that, people in your household might not agree with it, but they will respect you.
Yeah.
Those are my parting words.
I love that. People in your household may not agree with it, but they'll respect you. Yeah. If you stand if you stand firm on what you're saying, people really have no choice but to respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
it's the wavering back and forth that people are just kind of like, you know what?
Yes.
You're not serious. So if you're not serious, I'm not gonna be serious.
And I'm not
Exactly.
gonna take you
And I'm
seriously.
not gonna take you seriously. Yeah.
And the last thing I would like to say, have fun.
Oh. Yeah.
This journey it's given me I call it my second act.
I like that.
Yeah, my second act is so much fun. Like my first act was going through, the reproductive cycle of, having your cycle, being on your menstrual cycle, and this is my second act. It's like it just causes me to really kind of stand firmly in who I am, not in a, arrogant, more in a, I am so comfortable, like I can do this. Yeah. So have fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right. So what I got out of Cathy and Jude, I feel, is that stand firm, make the decision, know what it is that you're transitioning for, make sure that it matters to you so much so that others are really just forced to reckon with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and have fun with it, and just keep at it, really, if that's what you believe. Just trying it, because once you won't know if it works for you and how. You won't, not so much that if it works, because I know it works.
Yes,
way too much
we
data
know
that
it works.
Yeah,
Right.
we've seen,
Right.
we've seen the results.
But the trick is to how do I implement this into my lifestyle, right? How do I make this work? How do I navigate? Now I have to do what? She said relabel. She said what? She said cook the salads. And this Cathy here said that she loved her salads, and then she didn't want to go to a restaurant that sold salad. Like what? But you're gonna learn all of those things, and you just have to kind of dive in to figure out what works for you. So I loved everything that you both said. Thank you. Know that sometimes you will get all the support that you need, and sometimes you won't get as much support. Now, just the folks might want to know: did you leave him because he wasn't supporting your whole food plant-based lifestyle?
No.
Okay, that's all we don't. You don't have to go into it. That's all we wanted to know. But anyway, so and if any of you are kind of wondering what this 6-week program that Jude was referring to, definitely check out the notes and in the description, and you'll definitely see a link to that. I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for indulging us. And also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not already. I would appreciate it and love you more than I already do. So, Cathy, Jude, please say goodbye to the good people.
Bye. It's been nice having this conversation.
Thank
Thank you for this platform.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys are amazing.
Oh, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
See you next time. Ciao, ciao. I don't think I have to turn this off. So talk amongst yourselves if you want, or talk to the good people.
This was so much fun.
This was good. This was a really good conversation.
Yeah, and we've learned so much about each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my
There
gosh.
was something I was like, I didn't know you had your